Imagine the fun you'll have at your wedding, one of life's most treasured moments. In each episode, hear from leading wedding professionals as they share with you insider tips and personal advice for a magical wedding. Welcome to the Indian Wedding Podcast. Here to help plan your wedding with style and grace are your hosts, Kunal and Jinal Sampat.
Hello, boys and girls. This is Kunal and Jinal Sampat, your hosts at the Indian Wedding Podcast. Today, we're excited to interview Executive Chef Madhoo Seth from the Gourmet Kitchen. Madhu and her team are based in the Denver, Colorado area and are renowned for their artistic and delicious catering. In this episode, Madhu shares with us tips and tricks on how you can choose a caterer for your wedding, the mistakes that most families make when selecting the caterer, and how to plan for a multicultural cuisine for a fusion wedding without breaking the bank. We also discuss food wastage and composting, a topic that's near and dear to Janelle and I, and then finally wrap up a conversation talking about the importance of supporting local nonprofits. Please join us in this all-amazing conversation with Chef Madhoo Seth. So, Madhu, we're super excited to have you on the Indian Wedding Podcast. Welcome to the show, and it's our honor for us to have you here.
Thank you, Janelle and Conal. I'm very excited to be on the podcast here today with you guys.
So, can we start off with learning a little bit about you and your company? What do you guys do and how it relates to Indian weddings in particular?
Sure, it's a long story. I would love to share that. So I founded the Gourmet Kitchen Catering, which is our catering company, 15 years ago. And then Copperleaf Gardens and Event Center, which is our wedding venue, which was formed almost 5 years ago. And now Viva Production, which is a luxury Indian wedding planning and design, which was launched on April 16th. So, well, my background, I would love to share that now. I was born and raised in New Delhi, India, and grew up in midst of various religions, languages, and ethnicities. And I have studied fashion design, walked on ramp, and have modeled for name brands. But food was my passion, and all of my education and experience of fashion and literature has helped me understand and guide through what I do today, actually, because the couples we meet here, they are Indian and multicultural couples, and we provide here an experience that makes them feel at home.
Yeah, so what were you saying about the literature piece? I was just curious a little bit about that, and how is that influencing your craft? Maybe you can delve into that a little bit more.
Sure, I have done my bachelor's in English literature, and I've done my fashion designing after that, 1.5 years of that. So that's my major background, actually. And I'm a self-taught chef here for past 15 years in US. But from India, what I bring here is literature, which I have read English literature. So I've loved Shakespeare, I've loved literature, poetic, different poets I've read. So all that beautiful background of literature I have, which has helped me knit my beautiful menus and weave my menus and create beautiful language, all of that. And fashion, yes, fashion is an art. I believe it lives, and food is an art too. So they both are parallel to each other and at the same time married to each other. So both of those experiences in past have helped me today here in my culinary arts world and design world and now
That
planning
is really
world.
cool. Everything ties together, right? At the end, it's
Oh, yeah.
amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, you create a beautiful dish on a
Art.
plate. It's a piece of
Mm-hmm.
art, absolutely. Yes, how you create that beautiful ensemble, whether it's a dress or it's a beautiful poche salmon or poche
Right.
beets,
Someone
with foie gras
makes
on
it
it.
more
So yeah,
palatable.
yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you, when choosing a caterer for a wedding, what should a couple have in mind while they're trying to choose a caterer?
Well, there are a couple of things. First, do your research on caterer because a lot of brides they go. Honestly speaking, most I should say 90% or 99% of brides are today's bride is all online. So do your research thoroughly. Make sure you do the tasting. Make sure you meet the owners and never go for the cheapest. Go for the value, go for the flavors, go for the taste, go for what's offered to you, not what is cheapest.
I see.
Yeah.
So how do they do their research? Is it just based on internet, like try to search, or do they typically?
Search through well, there are a lot of gosh, research is of course one of them, and awards, credentials, and reputation, and word of mouth. There's so many things, so many things involved in
Yeah.
that.
So could you tell a little bit about what kind of awards or credentials do like top chefs have, or would be?
Top chefs, well, top good chefs, they are featured everywhere. They are featured on local, first of all, they are recognized in society. And first of all, I would say they give back to community. That's, I mean, receiving awards, credentials, it's great, but a good chef gives back in society, firmly believes in helping and reaching out to communities, which Gourmet Kitchen, our catering company, has been doing it from day first. So we do that. We, heavily discount um, our food and services. We give back to community, to charitable organizations, and so many of them in a month. Honestly
Mm,
speaking, we do 2 to 3 different
wow,
nonprofits, and we try to help them. So that speaks volume about the soul of the company, I believe. And moral values of a company as well. In addition to flavors, which we talked earlier, you schedule a private tasting meet, and so there is a lot of things involved, not
I
just
see.
tasting,
That's
food,
interesting. Hmm.
pricing. I mean, the whole
Will there
gamut.
is there like a discrepancy between like when people go for a tasting versus what they actually get fed at the wedding?
Oh, yes, there is people usually, yes. So one should totally, that's a very good question actually. So
Yeah.
whenever you meet a caterer, you should always ask, okay, I tasted this chicken cordon bleu, or I tasted this filet mignon, or I tasted this polenta. It's going to taste same like this, and how you going to do it, how you will maintain the freshness of it, and that's where chefs come in picture, and they should be able to explain how you're going to maintain. Are you going to be on site right when food is serving, or are you going to be
Hmm.
there 2.5 hours before? Will there be ovens on site, or your caterer is building up kitchen on site? So there is a questionnaire which we give us, which will have, okay, there is a build up kitchen on site, or your caterer is building up kitchen on site. So a lot of prep, like in our case. Now I'm going to talk about that a little bit. In our case, we build up kitchen on site no matter what. We bring ovens with us, and if it's an Indian wedding, we bring tandoor with us. We bring fryers with us. If we have to do fresh samosas on site, if we have to do fresh kachoris on site, we do. So we just prep enough and we finish it up on site. That's why my kitchen staff is there on site 3 hours before even ceremony, which is actually 4 hours before anybody would want to eat. So that way they can taste what exactly you taste at the tasting table.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an important
Oh.
point. Um, so, with so many different guests coming to the wedding, how can somebody like decide what type of cuisine to go with?
Well, it depends on actually bride and groom what they want to represent at their wedding. It's totally on them what kind of cuisine you like, and I never suggest what your guest would like. Go with that. Usually, our guests, our bride and groom, they are the one who decide what kind of flavor profiles they're going with, or things like that.
Sure.
I see. Yeah, so that's really interesting. But the other question I had was how can a couple ensure, they're respectful to the dietary requirements of the guest? If someone is vegan or gluten free these days, many people are, while trying to stay within their allocated catering budget.
Oh, absolutely. I would love to talk about that. That's my passion. So, dietary preferences. So we call ourselves experts in all the dietary preferences like paleo, gluten-free, vegan, vegetarians, nut-free, soy-free, seed-free. There is another clientele of mine who are absolutely, and actually, I'm going to name them here as well. Love in Arms. That's a nonprofit organization. We try to help them every year, and they are into vegan foods. So I think one or two of their guest they cater from us every year. They are seed free, and they're obviously nut free, and they cannot be any almond extract anywhere. In one of the one or two guests are like that, so we make sure we take care of that, and we make just special meal just for them and wrap it up and bring it to their table. So our team here in kitchen
I see.
and chefs are really, really good about that. So at every given menu, honestly speaking, there is always a gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian. So by default, we ask
I
them.
see. Okay.
In fact, as I am talking to you today, we catered this
Mhm.
morning for a client, and they clearly had five big no-nos. They wanted no peanut oil, um,
Mm.
gluten free, obviously everything was gluten free, nut free, soy free. So we do cater to a lot of those clientele actually.
Yeah, because there's such a need these days.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
assume.
absolutely. And I myself, honestly speaking, I have been gluten free for past almost 5 years now, and dairy free for 2.5 years. So, and I
Wow.
have read, and I think I'm very knowledgeable about that too. So,
So I
yeah.
was, I think, so
Wow.
if so, say, it's great if people are,
Mhm.
have access or are in the same state as you are, or the places where you provide catering services. But what if they are in a different state, like say in Massachusetts, and they want to work with a caterer? Is it a common expectation these days to be able to work with a caterer to have at least some vegan or gluten-free options without having the cost go up for the bride and the groom? Or I'm just kind of curious how that works.
Cost, yeah, no, cost does not go up at all. At all. There is no extra cost. For example, I am charging my client $40 per person for a certain food, and that vegan or gluten-free client, or any dietary restriction will stay in that same price range, and we will make her food. And I'm sure on the buffet we have salad, there's dinner rolls, there's vegetables. So this is what we do. We suggest our client to, that particular guest who has a dietary restriction of whatever kind can go to the buffet and grab whatever he or she can, and then we will bring the main entree to his table,
Got
his or her table. So to
it.
answer your question, there is no extra charge for anything.
Can you share some light on how much, when planning a wedding, it's expensive, and how much percentage of the budget should a couple spend for catering itself, keeping in mind there are more than one functions, and meals to feed
Are,
people.
are we talking about Indian wedding here?
I think so. Yeah, in Indian wedding,
Okay, yes.
because there are many
Yeah.
events, and there
Yeah.
are just the.
Well, budget is something it's very hard to define because it's on the menu you pick how elaborate you want to do. Like recently, I did a Gujarati wedding for It was not a wedding, actually. It was an engagement party, and they wanted 600 guests, and they wanted 5 stations. Now that's elaborate. I'm talking. You have a Chinese station with the Indo-Chinese food, and you have South Indian
Wow.
and with the Medu Vada station, and then you have Pani Puri. You have a snack station. You have a jalebi bar. So you have so much going on. So that's expensive. So it's very hard to put a price unless and until we
Right.
know exactly what's your menu. And you
Mm,
could do maybe very simple, honestly speaking, a pav bhaji
nice.
station and chana bhatura station, and that's it. And or if my bride and groom,
Mm,
they are very creative and they love food and they are foodies, they might want to experiment. So they might want to spend $100 per person on just one meal. On the other hand,
right.
I have
Mm.
a
Because
couple who might want to spend only $30 per person meal, and they want to go just simple. They just want to have some good items and a nice display, and that's about it. So again, it depends on.
on the person, because food is everything. I mean, not everything. It depends for the people too. I mean,
Yeah,
food is really what makes a party
yeah.
fun and
But food
enjoyable
is
at the end.
food is something which people, especially when it comes to Indian wedding, food is everything. People, you're right about that. So
Yeah.
yes, I agree with what you just said, because people do talk about food. So they don't eat
Yeah.
that day morning when it's Indian wedding, because they know it's gonna be
Yeah, they know
good.
they're going to be well fed.
They're gonna be well fed. It's true. So, I remember when I was little back home, whenever we used to attend any wedding, we used to be like, okay, they're gonna
Mhm.
be good feast there. Let's just hold on to our diets that morning.
Hold
So
on.
Indian food is just so aromatic, so full of flavors, and there is so much to offer. So
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
what are some of the mistakes like people make or like families make when deciding on their menu?
I cannot hear you.
I was saying, what kind of mistakes do families make when they're trying to decide on their food menu?
Mistakes they make. Good question. Well, I have seen, and majority, two things I would say here. First, they really want to go, to the cheapest vendor they want to go.
Mm.
Second thing, they really want to go a typical North Indian food at every given Indian wedding. At least in Colorado, I've seen that they would want same old chicken tikka masala. They would want same old dal. They would want same old,
Mhm.
and that's what I try to educate when they meet me. I tell them, no, just try to experiment different things. People want to see different things at wedding and have maybe one, one common item which they are used to it. So I feel not mistake, but that's something I don't approve with. I want them to try different things, and and that
Mm.
comes with costs.
Be something outside the
Outside the box,
box.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's time to experiment, right?
Yeah.
People are gonna eat. That's great, actually. Good tips. So one thing I was, both of us, including yourself, I know I saw, are huge on sustainability, and have a green thumb. So, and we know like a lot of food actually goes wasted after an Indian wedding or any wedding, like. So, what are your thoughts on preventing wastage and planning like a green, sustainable wedding?
Well, we do talking about green living. The Gourmet Kitchen also, practices a passion for green living, and we have been doing that for quite long now. And we employ sustainable practices at all our events, including recycling, composting, using local organic homegrown food, and we plan to go carbon neutral in near future, honestly speaking, and talking about leftover foods at any given wedding. So we donate our food to different charitable organizations here, and
Okay.
try to help them in that way.
So, there's a composting happen on,
Okay.
and this is off topic, but I'm curious. There's a at the site where the wedding is takes place, or you guys like move all the food back to your
Oh, we move. Forget about composting. We work at a lot of many venues here in Colorado where we are supposed to take entire trash, entire compost, haul it in our trucks and bring it with us. So
Wow.
talking back about the Gujarati wedding of not wedding engagement party of 600 guests, which we did recently. We hold 35 big, 33 gallons of trash bags, including everything recycling, compost, and everything. We took with us at our facility where we commercially compost, commercially recycle, commercially glass cycle. We do all of that
Yeah.
at our facility. So yes, we do that even if we're doing offsite.
Yeah. So, and with the carbon credits, how does that work? Do you buy to go carbon neutral? Do you buy like credits, or you said you were looking into that?
We are working on it right now. We have a whole plan for that. We are working we have our farm in the back, talking about all that. We have our farm in the back, so we get local produce, whatever we can, a lot of herbs and vegetables from our farm. We document that, and then we try to carpool at our different events. We use solar energy, we use that. So we are documenting all of that and our future plans, as I said, to be carbon neutral. Ideally, we were supposed to be this year. So, but a lot came up on our plate. So I'm hopeful next year we should be carbon neutral.
Why is it important for a bride or a groom
Yeah.
to have a wedding that's carbon neutral, in your opinion?
Why? Well, it always takes one person to, it always takes one person to impact this world. Why not the groom? Why not?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
we have to be green in every single thing
yeah,
we do,
whatever.
and this is also a
Yeah, I
part
mean,
of our life,
yeah, and
their
this is one of
lifestyle.
the biggest days of their life. Why not to make that green without? And it doesn't cost so much. It's all in mind. It's on recycling, composting, and all of that, which we are
Hmm.
doing. It's not. It's just people don't know much. They need to be
Mm.
educated more. They need to know more, and if we can direct them to the right direction, which a lot of people do. I had actually one bride who got married recently at Butterfly Pavilion, and she really wanted to pay extra for compost and she wanted to use compostable products. That was absolutely phenomenal. And there are people, Kunal,
Yeah.
who care about this beautiful earth, and they take every step, whether it's their wedding or in personal lives. Wedding is such a big event in which there is so much of waste generated in our industry, you can't even fathom about it. It's huge. It's huge. There is so much
Mm.
waste. Everything goes in one bin. I have seen from my eyes at different event centers here. So
That is so
yeah,
sad.
that is sad. That
I
sucks
would
really, because
love
your
to see
bottles, they
that.
go in same bin. This is the area actually I do feel here in Colorado. Um, we can work on, and there are planners who do green events. There are venues who really are very good about composting and separating the trash and all of that, and we love working with them.
Yeah, yeah, I know. This is going to be more and more important. If more and more people are getting educated about, and even being more concerned.
More
Yeah,
concerned because we have one life to live on this earth.
yeah.
Right. So, from a cuisine standpoint, what are like one or two important considerations for people planning like a fusion wedding? So, say if an Indian is getting married to a German or an Indian is getting married to a Chinese, like how do they come up with, how can somebody come up with a menu that like pleases both families and guests from both
Well,
families?
good questions. First of all, again, that we do a consultation with bride and groom, and we ask what kind of flavor profiles they like. If, let's say, there is a German family and an Indian family. So we might do, Germans, they like their German schnitzels, chicken schnitzels, chicken schnitzels they would want for sure. And we do really good the German cheese quark from scratch. So there are a couple of popular dishes which are kind of soul of that cuisine. Right. So we do try
Hmm.
to tell them, okay, let's go with these which are liked, which will be liked for everyone, not too experimental. Let's just go with that, which is, So, and then moving on to Indian side of it, and same goes for Indian cuisine as well. There are some of the items which are most popular at given Indian crowd, whether it's from North India or South India or any other people from other countries too, if they're attending the wedding, they would love that as well. So I have to sit with them and educate and go over, which actually I love that. And that's what we have been doing for 15 years. I have created dozens, hundreds of, honestly speaking, menus, fusion menus that, it takes
Wow.
me really a second to create. And that's the fun part, knowing more what excites them, what food excites them, and then creating what they like.
Wow.
It's wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Um, yeah, those are some really useful considerations. Yeah. So, Madhu, is there anything I mean, this was a great conversation. I feel like I should, I should be talking on this. But is there anything else we should have asked you that we didn't get a chance to talk about?
Um, Nothing is on top of my mind, but I do feel one thing which you just talked about, that there is a big need of a green movement in our wedding industry, big time. And there might be some going on somewhere, but I do feel there is
Mm,
there can be, because I do feel there is so much of wastage in our wedding industry. When it comes
yeah.
to, like, just talk about flowers. I
Yeah. Oh my
cannot
God.
imagine
Yeah.
at any Indian given wedding, there the most flowers are used in any Indian wedding. You know, uh, it's a lot of money there, and right after wedding, they are waste. So there should be.
Yeah, there's an organization like that gives all that flowers to hospitals and stuff, but there's just one, there needs to be more
Yeah,
more
yeah,
of
there
that.
are actually in Colorado also. I work with a
Okay.
lot of good planners here, and they do donate to different hospitals, and there are a
Yeah,
lot of cancer hospitals here. They give and donate to them.
nice.
But it would be good idea if there is a serious conversation and we do green events as well, and intentionally,
Intentionally.
yes,
Yeah.
Are there any
Yeah,
organizations
and I think
totally.
that's
that come
something.
to your mind? Any like that? Are there
Mm.
Repeat
any
again.
organizations in Colorado that come to your mind right away that can benefit from the Indian weddings, like with the flowers or the food that you've personally been involved with that we could put in the show notes for people to.
I we have been involved with some planners in past who have donated flowers to different hospitals. It's not on
Okay,
top of
that's
my mind right now. Maybe American Heart Association, if I'm right, but I don't
no,
want to
no,
quote
that's
you
okay.
wrong on that.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's one more called Random Act of Flowers. That's the one I
That
know.
will
I
be
don't know if they are in
But
Colorado.
but yeah, people
Random Act
are.
of
I mean,
Flowers.
planners here are really well seasoned.
Yeah.
They take care. But overall, flowers is just one factor.
One
but
factor,
entire
yeah.
wastage we are talking about.
Yeah.
Especially at different open barns and ranches. Where we have to hold everything
mm,
with us. At our facility we can do it, and sometimes we have to leave it there, so I don't know
mm,
what they do. So,
interesting. So where can people find out about you and your work and your craft if they want to check out what you do?
well, absolutely, we are Gourmet Kitchen Catering. We have been a full service catering for past 15 years. Our website is www.thegourmetkitchen.biz. And our phone numbers are 303-768-8970, 303-601-6680. They can call us, they can check us online. There are a lot of videos, food galleries, a lot of menus online, and Facebook pages there. There is Twitter, and what else? Social media is big. So we are Instagram. We need to be more, posting more on
Yeah.
Instagram though, but we are there. Actually, it's fun to do Indian weddings. Last week, not what's today? Today's 24th. So this past Saturday, we had four weddings that day. I would love to share that story. We had at our Copper Leaf, which is our wedding venue, we had one Spanish wedding. And then I was doing a
Yeah.
Pakistani wedding at Delatera Mountain Chateau. Amazing, amazing bride. Within less than 24 hours, she gave a great review and thank you letter to me. And then I had one one same-sex couple wedding we did at one of the venues, which was amazing, and they wanted just hors d'oeuvres. So that's who we are. Different cuisines, different locations, multiple events in a day, explicit menus, diversity. That's
Well,
what
this
we
was
offer,
great,
and we
great
do
chat,
travel.
Madhu. I highly encourage people to check out Madhu's work. If you want a creative chef at your wedding or any party, Madhu is your go-to person. Definitely take a look, a peek at her website to see what she offers. And I know, Janelle, you've personally met Madhu, and I know um, I really value people that are not just into the, they're not just cooking for the or making meals just for the sake of it, but really making a thoughtful decision about food, which I think you do, Madhu. So thanks for all your creativity and the energy and passion you bring to your work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Indian Wedding Podcast. For more exclusive time and money-saving tips, head over to sampatjewelers.com/podcast.